Hi, this is Jim Shuett. We are the Report Writers Group, and welcome to week number 3, uh, February 19th, 2025. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's get right to this, and we'll go to our next page here and do our notifications. Of course, all sessions are being recorded. Thank you so much. Now, today, uh, we're going to dig deeply into custom reports. Last week we covered a lot on report forms, and this week and beyond we're going to continue with custom reports. Got a lot to cover, and so let's just get started here. Now, our let me see here. Let me get this visible. There we go. Okay, gonna have a little more fun. We have a great feature here. This is the Sage 100 Contractor User and Advisor Group, and this is in LinkedIn. I started this group back in 2022 and have added things over time. And below here, you can see a list of at least 25 items that are in there. You'll recognize a couple of them because we've covered them already. The wildcard search feature, historical data or documenting, that type of thing. So when you get a chance, and there's a link right down here at the bottom on your materials, please take a look at each one of these. They will help you to understand how to use Sage better. So, okay, let's continue on here. Now, we are going to get started with naming reports. Now, it may sound like we've touched base on a couple of these items already, and we have to an extent, but I want to make sure we cover all the bases, and we'll touch base on these. And please bear with me if you understand it, and that's great if you do. So when you're naming your report, you need to include the features of the report. Now, what do I mean by features? Okay, let's say it's a AR invoice list by job and phase. Okay, well, the report is obviously an AR invoice list, but the features that need to be shown in the title are by job and by phase. So when you're looking at the list of all the reports, this tells you more, and you can zero in better on what those are. And so let's go here for just a moment. AR invoice list. Okay. And so if we have a like O5 here, AR invoice list, and we'll talk about the tilde by job / period. Now, using a slash is probably not a good idea generally. Usually you should use a dash in report writing naming. But anyway, when you show this report, up at the top it'll say AR invoice list in larger letters, and the tilde separates the report title and the report subtitle. And so you hit the tilde, which is on your keyboard next to the number 1, and that automatically makes the rest of this the subtitle. So let's continue on. So that's the tilde, and also, as I've explained, when you're doing your report writing, you always add a -1A to the reports when you are first using them. Let me see if I've got some samples here. Mostly I have that in the 13.4 area. But what that 1A does is, and I've explained this before, sometimes Sage does not like what you did. And if you've constructed almost everything in the report and you're almost done, or even halfway through, or even just beginning in it, if it doesn't like it, sometimes it'll just wipe everything out, and you'll end up with a blank white screen, no matter how much work you put into it already. And so if you have a -1A and a -1B and 1C and so forth, as you have worked through building the report, then let's say it's the 1C that got wiped out, you still can go back to 1B, and it's got everything there except for the thing that you just tried doing. And then you can save that 1B to 1D, and knowing what you found out in 1C, try to generate a new one without the problem. And sometimes it'll take a couple times of failing to figure out what it was that Sage didn't like. Anyway, so that is the 1A. Now, the next thing is you have to choose whether or not you're going to use an existing report to start your new report or a brand new one. And that's easy enough to do. You can just take a quick look at what is out there and available, and if there's something close, I would use an existing report and then change it. And then when you save those reports, you can either save them to a menu location or to the 13.4 screen. Now let's take a look at what that means. If you save it to a menu location, then you're going to have something that says, here's the menu 31205, and that's the menu location. And if you save the report not as 03010205, if you save it as the title, then that will automatically save in the 13.4 menu, which is here. And this is where you can store all or a lot of your custom reports if that works better for you. Now this always takes a minute because I have a few in this bucket of reports, and as you can see, I have a few. Actually, just to clarify, I have over 5,000 reports in here. Now let's take a look at that 1B, 1ABC, ABC thing here. And so here, I've got 1A, 1B, 2A. I changed it to 2 because there was a kind of a major change in the structure of the report. And so that tells me, that's what, moving on to the next big number is. And so now here, I've got quite a few. But anyway, you really do need to always, always, always add those, so you have those available. Okay, so now let's go on to, that's where we are. Okay, let's go on to the next session, groups. And also here in your materials, this refers to a book in the book, section 13.2 on page 68. And up here, I didn't put it here, but anyway, going forward from here I did on these. And so the topic is groups and the order in which you do the groups. Now we spent some time on this already, so I'll just touch base with this. In setting up groups, what does grouping mean? Okay, it means that you're getting a group of the similar type of documents that you want to have a header and a subtotal on. Now you can set up a group and you don't need to have a subtotal if you don't want it, or a header. You can just have a detail line. But anyway, and there's a specific order in which you need to have the groupings done. Always header, group 1, and then group 2, and then 3, then detail rows, and then the subtotals are reversed. Subtotal group 3, subtotal group 2, and then 1, and then totals. Briefly, why reversed? Okay, well, let's say you're doing job, phase, and date. Okay, so if you're getting a group in group 3 uh, uh, of similar dated items, and the detail gives you a listing of all those in that group, well, then right after the list of detailed group 3 dates, you want a subtotal of the dates. And so that's why the subtotals are reversed, 3, 2, 1. And then once the dates are subtotaled, then you get detail rows for group 2, and then group 2 has a subtotal, and so forth. So that's the important part about that. Down below in your materials, this is a section from the book just for your reference and just beginning to start teaching you about this topic. But you have the book and you can take that going forward. Okay, so let's go on to, now let's see, that's that. Okay, next we're going to do criteria. Okay, I don't know if we did that enough or at all, so we'll cover that a little bit more in doing this. So let's go to criteria. There's a maximum of 13 fields that you can put in the criteria box. You don't need them all. You might just have 1 or 2, but no more than 13. And then part of the criteria also uses the parentheses, and you can always use enough to give the options when you're running a report, but don't use too many, because too many can be confusing, and I'm afraid I'm guilty of doing too many when I do my clients' reports, because sometimes we don't discuss it, and I want to be sure that they have all the options that they can have. But let's take a quick look here. Now we'll go into, well, let's see. I probably shouldn't have used 13.4. It takes longer to open. So I hope you're having a good day. And okay, here we go. So here I'm in the test mode. Good. Let's do, okay, let's just do this one. And so I'm going to go up here to modify. Well, first let's take a look at what's here. Now you can see here the selection criteria: job, phase, vendor, status. Okay, and this icon is your selection criteria icon. And now you have this box. You've got the top section, which has your tables, your fields inside each table, and here's what's going to show on your screen for the job, the ones that you've selected. And so anything that you want here, you can just check. Now we've got phase here already. Let's see if there's something else I can add real quick. Now remember, this is going to help you to select a grouping or a group of items to come out of the report. So job, phase, vendor. Do I have vendor? I have vendor. Okay. Oh, status. No status is there already. Well, type. Let's do type. Okay. So I'm just going to double click type, and it'll come down here. If you want to move these I'd rather have type above status, then you can just use the arrow here, the up arrow, and there it goes. It goes up or go back down. Now, if you want to get rid of a row, you just click the X, and this one doesn't have the parentheses. Maybe I haven't chosen the right report. Oh, enable. There we go. Enable or logic advanced options. Okay. And so by enabling that, you can say, I want it to have a status of 3 and a type of 2. You have to be careful and test it out, see what actually comes out. And then you also have the parentheses here to surround them. So depending on how deep your ands and stuff go, you might need a double or a triple parenthesis. I would suggest, playing around with them. I rarely use these, so I'm going to unclick that. But it's there for you, and so that's what the topic is for that. Let's get back to here. Okay, I'm going to X out of that and that. Yeah, I got to stop using 13.4. Okay, so next we have okay, and so that's selection criteria. Let's see if there was anything else. No. So going down, let's see what's there. Okay, that is that. Okay, let's do this. Now saving your reports. We have touched base on this before. When you save your reports, you need to choose where you want them to go, either in one of the menu items here in the menu or in the 13.4 area. If you want it to go in a menu, then you have to save it as a number, the menu number and a report number. If you want it to be sorted alphabetically as title, be in the 13.4 menu where we just were, then that would be your choice there. We've kind of covered this. Again, down below you have information to go forward with that. Okay. The other part of saving your report is choosing shared, private, or company. There are those little things to choose from, and it won't let you save it unless you've chosen one of them. So again, briefly, we have covered this, but shared means anybody in your company can get access to this report. If it's saved as a private, then it means that only you, or basically your computer, can get it. And then company, saving it as a company report. So let's say you've got 3 companies, and this has a logo for this company, and you wanted to save it just for that company, and that means that anybody can get it if they're in that company. Okay, so let's continue on here. Now, field properties. We covered that a lot in report forms last week, and it's the same, pretty much the same in our custom reports, but we'll get into that a little bit more here. And so let's go into okay, let's see here. I'm going to stick with receivable invoice list. Now, aligning positions. We did cover this a lot, so I will kind of run through these quickly. Okay, so now we're going to open this in Modify Report. And so aligning positions, we've got these positions. So if you hold your control key down, you can click on and hold several at the same time. And if you want to align the height on this row of all of these to be the same as one of them, then you can release the control key, hover over the one that you want the others to be at the same height of, and then right click and then come down and say align to the top. And what that does is it brings this up to the same height on the row as this one is. And that would be true of any row, anything like that. Now let's say you've got these two, and you want them to align to the left. Actually, let's do these. Control key down. And there's a couple things that you need to do. This one is right adjusted, this one is left adjusted. And so I want to be sure that both are left adjusted. And so I can come up here now and click this, align left or align right. And so I'm going to click align left and watch this one here, align left. And now that's kind of off the screen, you don't want that. But what we do now is I'm going to just do the arrow over to the right arrow and bring it into the report. And then I am going to, both of these are going to go to the left, and I'm going to right click, align left, and now these are aligned right correctly. And I will do the same thing with this. I want these to align left, and I'm going to bring them closer to there and align left. And so that gets those done. Now, period is for down here, so I don't have to worry about that. These two are kind of by themselves. But anyway, aligning positions, that's how you do that. Object properties. Okay, let's that be here. And so if you click on one and then go to properties, you come out with the types of properties like regular font, bold font, the location in the spot that these are at. For instance, this is at 0 height in the row. I do not like things at 0 height. I always prefer them at least at a 2, which lowers that a little bit. Watch this go down as I click OK. So that lowered that. Now I want to make sure job is the same as this one, and now I can do top there. And then the same thing with those. You can do that too. So let's go back to properties. Now this is how far left this is in the row. So 39 characters. And height is how high this is. Sometimes you can change this and sometimes you can't. Looks like it's grayed out, so you can't. And now the number of characters. Ooh, whoa. The number of characters. Let me Get back in here. So the number of characters, that'll be how many characters that'll stretch out. Certain things you'll find out how many characters are available. I think 30 or 35 is for descriptions. It might be 75, but whatever it is, you can just change the length of this. If I put in 20, watch, you'll see, and once I click OK, but watch this now. See, that'll shorten that. And then you can always click undo. My favorite phrase, undo. Okay, so properties, and we've covered these in the report forms, and they're pretty much the same here. And so I'll leave these for now. But the other part is Excel ready. So if you are doing something that you want to be able to run the report to Excel, when you click the printer, then you choose Excel icon to print it to Excel. Every field in here is going to give you a column. What you want to be sure and do is make sure that everything is lined up together so that they will give you everything in the same column that you want in the same column. And that makes Excel so much easier and better. And so lining things up, like this and this, because this might give you 50 rows, but if they're aligned correctly, then they'll all be in the same column, all in the same column. And so this way you should make sure that the titles and the rows are aligned like that. So that is how you do Excel ready. Now I'm going to pause and go for questions. And so that'll be the end of this video. Let's see.